Okay, abusuya be makwa abashunku so edeba Ghana Politics Avenue so abusuya yembonra yensemu lawyer M.Kpebu refuses to temper justice with mercy. Abusuya say OSP kisi ejaben ekwan a ofa so de arresting abusuya lawyer M.Kpebu say onti ase ne enti ase ekira enti no wa file document say odi akwakopi mu ewo quarter wesiu OSP kisi ejaben with immediate effect or say ekwan a OSP efa so de arresting no malicious prosecution enti no say usiu OSP kisi ejaben Solomon Owusu de honsem awabetu amom yankona yankonkoti ensma course unsubscribe subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me Nkpebu Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that any update be ever dropping on also onsa able to me Akembi.
To those that have petitioned, I will encourage more people. If anybody, you know anybody in any institution, must be a petition. Let's clear all the bad ones out. Don't go and petition to remove Addo anyway.
I haven't done anything bad.
So that we will have serious minds, patriotic citizens manning our various institutions. Not that we lack them, we have them. We have them. We have people who really want to work for this country to develop it. Because we travel around. Sometimes when you go somewhere and then they call you a Ghanaian, you don't know whether to be proud or not to be proud. Because if you look at the resources that you have back home and what they have, and they are called developed country and you are called a developing country, it beats your imagination. The only difference between we as Ghanaians that are described as developing and they that are described as developed is that they are honest, we are not honest. We are not honest. We are not honest. So we give monies to people and they shortchange all of us. We put people in various institutions, they don't work, they create the impression that they are working. But I want to assure Kisia Jabin that the fight is on. We will deal with the matters. And Martin is also a lawyer, and I'm happy I heard him say that he would sue them for malicious prosecution. I agree. He has to. He has to. And to the military officer, people who are giving military attire and you think that you are baggers. The mere fact that you are wearing the military attire does not make you above the law. You went and said stupid to Kpebu. You wanted Kpebu to carry this words into his hands and go home and go and tell the wife and children. He also turned around and said, you are also stupid. They don't like being called stupid. But he wanted Kpebu to go to the house and cry over being stupid. No, it doesn't work like that. It's fast. I don't believe in that principle that said, if you slap this left cheek, turn the right. Are you mumu? If you turn the right and slap and then you become a dumb person, who caused it? You slap left, give it to the left. The same left, right. There will be peace. So, sir, on that note, we await the Chief Justice. We will be in this country to follow this discourse. I'll end it here.
You promised us creation of the Special Prosecutor's Office in 2016. So when your party came into office, they wanted to make sure they fulfilled that promise. That was the main reason why this thing was created. Now, at the time, the reasons you gave was that the Attorney General's office, which acts as the Minister of Justice as well, must be separated, and that you needed a special office that wouldn't be under the control of the Attorney General and could go after politically exposed persons even within the government when they are involved in corruption or corruption related issues. That was the reason you gave. Among the functions of this office, you told us, was to investigate corruption, was to prosecute corruption and was to retrieve any monies or produce, whatever it is that were acquired, through corrupt means. So you gave us all these, and also to take proactive steps to make sure that corruption, is minimized. In fact, Afrobarometer data told us that prior to the establishment of this office, about 6% Ghanaians felt that corruption was going down. When the office was created, the numbers shot up to about 20% thereabout of Ghanaians who felt that the office of the special prosecutor was coming to do something. 2 years after, the numbers fell again to 6%, which meant that clearly Ghanaians had lost hope and interest in this special prosecutor thing. They had lost all confidence in it. Be that as it may, we continued. Today, Special Prosecutor Kisia Jabin comes in. My brother made a point that the NDC, in fact, you kept making the point that the NDC hasn't taken any official position as far as this matter is concerned, unless I am missing out on this. The NDC, I said, you don't have to react to everything. Allow me.
Let him talk.
Please. All right? You will have your time.
Najib, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if the majority leader represents the NDC's official position, then Mike Okwe represents the MPP. Anyway,
Najib, I don't think
I'm not going to allow you.
Please make your point.
I'm not going to allow you to obstruct me. The point I seek to make is that today, if Ghanaians feel that the office of the special prosecutor is obsolete and that it is not performing as it ought to, let it be scrapped. It's not for you and I to decide that. I mean, I'm not a legal person. I'm not going to go into the legalities or otherwise of this thing. I'm going to allow the legal people to interpret it as it ought to be. I'm going to allow people like Bagbin and the rest who think that somebody is abusing his office. I mean, if it's the individual, I agree with you. If the analysis shows that it is the individual who needs to be taken out, that is fine. But I'm not going to, allow you to obstruct me. On the issue of petitions, generally, in fact, the petitions are not only for the electoral, the special prosecutor. Yes. I'm going to lump it up with the petitions on the EC. And my brother is here talking about petitions politically motivated. Yes. My God, interesting. Let me take us a few years back. The Electoral Commission lost its credibility or started losing its credibility the very day Charlotte Osei was taken out. Any well-meaning Ghanaian that was in this country or even outside of this country who was following proceedings as far as that petition was concerned, it was clear that those petitions were engineered at the Flagstaff House, orchestrated by people who had told us prior to 2016 election that Charlotte Osei had to go. It was the first time we saw a petition brought in where some of the petitioners were already dead. You think we have forgotten? It was the first time that the president told us that his constitutional duty was to act as a conveyor belt. Yet when the petition got to him and wasn't signed, it was held and the petitioners called to come and sign. You think we have forgotten that so fast? My brother, we have not. So it became clear that the MPP had set out an agenda and were all out to ensure its execution. Now, Charlotte was taken out. Not only Charlotte Osei, along with her deputies. And then Jane Mensah was brought into office. I don't have a problem with Jane Mensah as an individual. But the circumstances under which she was brought into office were very questionable. And my people have a saying that if you come into somebody's room through the window, don't expect to get a red carpet out. You will definitely go back out through that window. You came into office because there was obviously a grand scheme orchestrated against your predecessor, taken out. That not being enough. In fact, if you remember the 2016 election, Charlotte Osei, who was perceived by the MPP at the time as somebody who is not pro-MPP and needed to go, declared them winners of the 2016 elections. Yet, this fraud was perpetrated against Ghanaians. And she was changed. Jane Mensah was brought into office. Now let's question her competencies and effectiveness. Fast forward 2020 elections. Election results first published. A few hours later, election results changed. In less than 24 hours, different results came again. About 5 times, election results were changed. And it's interesting when my general secretary makes an analysis of these things, where he says that as far as he knows, election results is about additions. You don't do subtraction, you don't do division, you don't do multiplication.
Yes, sir.
It was just simple arithmetic in adding.
Your general secretary.
Yet, what happens is that at the end of the day, we were given 3, 4, 5 different election results. This case was taken to court. And to tell you how much a lot of people, including people at the time within the judiciary, were perceived to be part of this grand agenda, Charlotte, what's her name, Jane Mensah, was not allowed to mount the docket, if you remember. We haven't forgotten all these things. So you cannot come here and lecture us about what or how a petition ought to be like. I don't speak for the NDC on this show, but I'd like you to know that if the NDC takes any other decision apart from doing the right thing, the members of the NDC themselves will have a problem with the NDC. It was clear that you needed to change Charlotte, and Ghanaians had lost confidence in the whole Electoral Commission. Now fast forward, in fact, from her days at IEA, it was clear that she was a pro-NPP. That's my observation. I might be wrong. Her assistant, Bossman, was on TV saying that the NDC was a threat to the democracy of Ghana. That statement alone qualified for any petition to take him out. But you see, it is interesting. And Lawyer Chachusikata puts it right when he says that when you sow the wind in bad faith, expect a wild wind. You saw the very bad precedents. You started on a very wrong trajectory. Today, you are being paid with your own coin. It looks like it, anyway. Today, you are experiencing exactly what happened to you. Today, what we are seeing are accusations. And every accusation that comes from your party is an admittance of what you did in the past. So you are so scared. You started saying, oh, the NDC stake is on this, the NDC stake on that. We're not talking about the NDC stake on this matter. We're talking about the take of Ghanaians as far as this matter is concerned. We're talking about what you did in the past that is catching up with you. And you should have seen it coming. You should have seen it coming because you sowed when in bad faith. And today you are experiencing what you sowed. And its multiple or triple effects. The petitions have gotten to the president. From what we have heard, he has passed it on to the Chief Justice. He will look at the merits of it and let Ghanaians know whether the petitions have any merits or not. My brother is here talking about the fact that the person who sent, or one of the people who sent the petitions, is all over social media and all over, what do you call it, from radio station. It is none of your business. It is his business. He has a problem and he has written a petition. If the judiciary feels that whatever he does, you know, is tantamount to the petition being thrown out, fair enough. Allow him to do what he feels is right and proper. It's not for you to decide that. But the fact is that these petitions will definitely be looked into. Kisi Ajabing, yes, has gone after cases like Cecilia Dapa, right? You talked about him stepping on some lion's tail. That's you saying it. I haven't heard Kisi Ajabin saying that. But at least I heard Martin Amidou say that the president, our president at the time, who appointed him was the mother of all serpents.
The mother serpent of corruption.
Of corruption. I haven't heard Kisi Ajabin say that the Attorney General is after him. But I've heard Martin Amidou saying that. And again, one of the reasons for the creation of that office was to make sure that you created a separate entity that could go after politically exposed people without any fear or favor. And Martin demonstrated that. Martin demonstrated it in various ways until he left that office. And when he left the office, he pointed fingers at people, including the president, as people who were corrupt. These are not my words. So for you to come here, my brother, this morning and try to tell us that, act as though this is the first time we're seeing something like this in our history, it should be dismissed outrightly. And I think, like I've advised, stick to the matter. Stop being all over the place with rumors. I have heard this, I've heard that. This is a different show. When you come here and you want to speak on certain matters, stick to the facts. All right? And when you are corrected, I think it's only right that you take it in good faith. When you talk about Dr. Sledge and all of that, I'm not going to go into all of that. I think that you should check your facts in most cases. And it's also important that you listen to other panelists on the show when they speak, so that you don't deviate from, some of these things. I'll leave it at that for now, and then, we'll take it up.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's also put it on record that the man who, the EC officer, the indicted one, in all his interviews refused to talk about what is contained in the petition. And he does that because he understands the constitutional imperative not to discuss the petition. He says he will admit that he was the one who sent the petition and that the petition has been sent, but he will not discuss the contents of the petition.
Senator, can I come in?
Yeah.
In reference to that, that he's not the only individual who has sent petition for the purposes of the removal of any of these particular two.
Yes.
Okay. I have seen somebody who paraded himself as a pastor.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Who had an interview on Joy. In fact, he was wearing he was like a nigger. This American nigger is the way they, He was actually discussing the very contents of the petition. So for me, these are the issues that I'm talking about. I don't want to react to my brother, but I would maybe if my time comes, then I will.
You have an issue with him.
That is what I'm talking about. Okay. So I was talking about. I was just talking about those particular issues in general, based on the fact that, based on what I have seen. So definitely this.
It's not fair to describe him. I said he was wearing what.
But if you are who you say a nigger, who is a nigger? Who is a nigger? Who is a nigger? My brother, it's not a derogatory. It's not a derogatory term. That it is not. It is not. It is
anyway,
not.
Leave
a nigger is not a derogatory term.
Leave it there.
It's not a derogatory term.
Leave it there.
Honestly, it's not a derogatory term.
There's Dennis Yakwete who says, "I'm not in favor of removing the EC chair under any regime, unless there's a real reason for doing so, as enshrined in our constitution. But the political scene that was allowed to pass and gained root in Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and sealed on the 28th day of June 2018 against Madame Charlotte Osei and two of her deputies may stay with us for a long time unless the work of the ongoing Constitutional Review Committee is able to deal with that conclusively. Else the future is uncertain. With regards to the OSP, I would have wished that a Senate institution stand into the office of the AG, separated from the Ministry of Justice and made truly independent through a constitutional amendment. It is sad that we are here today. We can only hope that we are learning some lessons the hard way as a nation. Dennis Yakwete sent that. Thank you very much. And this one says, good morning. There's this more who says, good morning. Where was the MPP man when Charlotte Osei was removed by faceless petition? Why didn't he speak about them? He should go and do his investigations. How many people have not been paid since Jin Mensah and the deputies came into office? Since 2020 till now, a lot of the temporary staff allowances not paid, and a lot are still begging for the allowance. I thought his leaders came to say Jin Mensah was incompetent when she announced rerun in Ablekuma North. What has changed now?
Okay, abusia we ne ensema ekoso e political highway so Solomon Owusu and I attend in Kase or this ensem no tudwa e de amaya enye easy client no eye OSP kisi edabin lawyer M.Kpebu a filing a document e de akwako piemu ewo court wa pake no wait yes full evidence na enye easy but I'm say some of Japanese kokoti sa ensem we edemai aha Ghana politics avenue so but I'm say